In this tutorial we'll be texturing a cylinder. So add mesh cylinder. Over on the right here, make sure your vertices actually means how many faces as well. So you can change that to 20 if you like, or less, maybe 18 just for the moment, and you'll see there's only 18 vertices. That's 18 maybe a bit less, 12. That will do for the moment. 12. Now, still in object mode, you can set to smooth. That will give you a smoother edge on a cylinder. The more vertices that you have on a cylinder, I will just show you again, the more vertices that you have on a cylinder, the smoother it will be. So if you have 18, when you click smooth, that will be smoother than the one with 12 vertices on it. And if you go up again 20, that will be smoother again. So we'll click on smooth, you'll see that was smoother than the last one we had. Go into object mode, edit mode. We will scale this a little bit first. Just make it here. Go into edit mode. Go up to the top right here and drag that across until the menu appears down the bottom. Okay, now we want to change the color. The first color you choose will change all of the colors. So go into faces mode, click on the top face, change the color. Make sure you click on assign, go to the bottom face. This is for general use in Second Life, so different faces can have different textures. Okay then, now just to make these top faces, you can see the shadowing there. We will make that faces shade flat. Okay. Now, go into texture mode. Select the faces you want. Go to new and UV grid. Make sure alpha is off. Okay. Press U on your keyboard, cylinder projection, and you'll see that's made a cubic projection, but a cylinder shaped cubic projection. I'll just show you over here. Make sure it's scaled to bounds, but then again, UV cylinder projection. If you click that, obviously the second time you'll have to re-UV it. And there you have your cylinder projection. Click on the top and the bottom faces. Just load that one again. Going to top view. Top view is the same as bottom view, unless there's something special going on with your UV mapping. Press U and cubic projection. Okay, you can do cubic projection individually, which might be better for each face. Go to navigation, click on bottom, UV. You'll see that UV over here is oval. That's because we did 2 at a time. but that was just to get the UV texture on there. Okay, and there we have a cylinder projection. If we select these faces again and put on a texture that will, so we can view, you'll see that's perfectly in order. Now the edge of the window here you can see is here. If you click over in your UV editor, if you click all and just grab, you'll see that the edge doesn't move. But if we were to do a cubic projection, I'll just do a cubic projection. And grab the texture over here, you'll see the seams. You'll see the seams right in front there. You'll see the seams change. Now we don't want seams generally, unless again it's something special. So UV cylinder projection. Make sure the scale to bounds is clicked. If you click it after you've done your UV, you'll have to do your UV by pressing U and cylinder projection again. And you'll see that those seams are not there anymore, no matter where we change it. The seams are not there. Of course there's some, that's a seam up here, only because it's a different face altogether. But that's okay. And there we have how to do a cylinder projection. Now I'll just go into normal mode. If you press Z twice, it will take you back to normal material mode. Now I'll just do an example here. I'll do a loop cut inside. I'll drag that up. I'll make sure increment is on. Now if we go to texture mode, you'll notice the texture changing. Alright, it's best to add these things before we do texturing, but not so much as we can vary the shape. So if you vary the shape too much, the textures will go out of line. Press Z on your keyboard. Why is that not on? Sorry about not having the display on. Now if this was a, you'll notice that that loop cut inside made extra faces. Just click on B here, and again this is an example. I'm going to extrude these, so press E and then right click and just drag them out a little way, and click on Y over here so it does both directions. Now while we've still got those selected, we will make them a different colour. Just any colour. Go into, just take off that transparency, go into texture mode. Now you'll see those textures are different now. This will be a cylinder projection, so U cylinder projection, and that will display that all the way around. Don't worry about the size or the scale of the texture, that will be altered in Second Life. On the bottom ones here, just press your transparency B, select those, UV cylinder projection, and now we've placed those back into normal spots. Now you'll notice on the top is completely different. I'll just go back into normal mode. select all of those top pieces, go into top view, texture mode, UV, cubic projection, and that will make that correct. We will just place a texture on here to see what it looks like. That's a cylinder projection. This is a cubic projection. Again, you'll see it's made a seam. So we go UV cylinder projection. It will not make any seams. And that texture can be moved around. I'll just put a round texture on there to show you. That's the round texture, UV. You can also go project from view, which will do a round texture directly as it shows you on here. Okay, now you can see that round texture on there. If you select all of these faces and do UV project from view, we'll have to change that to the round mosaic. You'll see it's all filled in there. You will have to select, we'll just go into normal material mode, select all of those, add a different color, we'll go to bottom view, go into texture mode, change the texture to the mosaic, for example, press U on your keyboard and project from view. That's if you want a round texture on there. Obviously it will be different for other things. So again, try the textures out on your objects first. If you were making this into a tower, you would select every other face, and you'll see there's not enough there, so we'll just see what happens when we select those. Right. Press 1 on your keyboard for front view. Make sure increment is on, and the pointy arrows, press E on your keyboard and then right click just so they stay where they are, then use the arrow to move them up. Okay, now obviously the size of these can be changed, and you will want to make a different color for these top parts as well. So with those all selected, go down a little star here, press that, press B on your keyboard, select those top faces and change those to a different color. Press assign. Now these will be a separate texture, so we will want to go to our UV, press U on your keyboard. I just press reset. What that does is sometimes it can help, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, the textures over here. So just go into top view. So if you press U on your keyboard, cubic projection, and we seem to have another face selected here, do we? No. Ah, yes. Then if we put a different texture on those, I'll just get out of transparency mode, go into texture mode. You'll see they are a bit stretched, the textures, but what you can do over here, is make sure everything is selected, pressing A on your keyboard, and press S on your keyboard, and that will transfer the textures wider and closer. You can of course go around each individual face and change the textures like we would do here. We would make sure all selected, press S and then X on your keyboard, so it only scales left and right. X, and you'll see that's scaling it in. You don't have to worry about this for Second Life purposes. And that's the end of that tutorial.